Well, it's been 3 years since Rockwall County voters approved road bonds, none of which have been used. So why is the first project in line one that has never been part of the bond proposal to begin with? Well, Commissioner John Stacy is here to talk about that because it's that time again. Time for some straight talk. I'm Bunker Bob Steinhagen, and this is the Bunker Bob Show. Greetings, thrill seekers, music lovers, conversationalists from across the fruited plains of the great state of Texas. I am your host, Bunker Bob Steinhagen, bringing you an hour of uncensored, unadulterated, and unapologetic conservatism. And speaking of conservatism, one of my favorite county commissioners in the state of Texas is sitting here right now, and that, of course, is Rockwall County Commissioner John Stacy. Commissioner, thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it has been, the last time we talked was at the memorial for
Charlie Kirk.
For Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
And I appreciate you coming on and talking with me that night. But we really didn't get a chance to really catch up. And it's been a while. You're in you're coming into your fourth year. And I'm just, one thing that I observed about you is that you kind of hit the ground running. You really didn't seem like you had to learn, where the bathrooms were and where all of the things, because the way, things work is sometimes complicated, but you didn't seem to have that problem. So I am curious, were there any surprises that you kind of faced and things that you've learned, like, I didn't know that?
Yes. So I'll give you 30 seconds on me is, have you seen the movie Oppenheimer?
I have, yes.
Okay, so that's what I studied in college is quantum mechanics. And so I studied, the physics, the chemistry, how to make everything work and how the world operates at a quantum level. And then when I finally went into a lab, I realized I have to have people. I can't sit in a lab. I love the math, but I have to have people.
Right.
But it comes from this innate desire in me. How do things work? How do things operate? I don't want someone to say, well, if you push this, it does this. I want to know, how does that actually happen? So I guess the biggest surprise that I had is that I get into office. It's January, and I grab a book, and I'm told, hey, the state has what's called a UTP, a Unified Transportation Plan. I didn't know that. I'd been in public office for 15 years. I had no idea the state had this plan.
Okay.
So I open it up, and 205 isn't in it. And so, and I look again, and I'm like,
well, first of all, what is this book?
It's a 10-year plan for every project TxDOT's going to try to work on.
205 is not part of that.
No. So when I took office 3 years ago, there was no 205 in the UTP. And I said, that can't be good.
Wow.
Right?
No.
So we assumed, hey, 205 is getting built. They're moving utilities. It's happening. And that's what you hear. Hey, this is going to happen. So I went downstairs to Judge New's office, and I said, Judge, I think this is a problem. I've got to figure it out. But I don't think it's a good idea that 205 isn't in a 10-year plan for the state of Texas.
Did he know that?
He didn't know that.
Wow. Okay.
So then he got in his car, drove down to Austin, and he met with the TxDOT director, and he said, this is a problem. And then 205 got in the transportation plan, and in 2027 and 2029, they look at letting the project. That's what I inherited when I took office.
Wow.
And you sit there and go, is there a more important road project in Rockwall County? I mean, I know we have 30. 30 is a state federal
that's
thing.
Completely state.
Correct. Yeah. So is there a more important project for Rockwall County overall than 205? And I would argue no. I think 205 is at the top of the list as the road that needs to be done the most. And it wasn't even in the plans. And that's what we started with.
Wow.
So I guess that was kind of a big surprise for me. And then I really started uncovering how roads actually get built. What is the science behind it? And people say it's complicated. And I don't think it's that complicated, honestly. You have a very, very small bucket of money. No matter how big you think it is, it's never big enough to handle the challenges that we have and the amount of concrete we have.
Sure.
And you just have the state and federal people get together and say, we have enough money and we're going to kick it to this county. We're going to kick some money here. We're going to kick some money here. And then they try and hope that it all comes together. Now, there's a science to it. It is complicated. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of work that goes into that. But at the end of the day, if your county commissioners are advocating these are our important roads, and TxDOT understands that these are your important roads, then they start building them that way. The other thing I didn't know, it takes 15 years to build a TxDOT road.
Yeah, well, and I kind of learned that when I was mayor. But what it almost sounds like people are saying it's complex, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Is what
That is correct.
You're kind of saying it is complex, but it doesn't have to be complicated.
It's not complicated, and
but they want it to be complicated because that's the way government works.
Yes, and then they want people to be confused and overwhelmed, and it's really, really not that hard to understand what is going on. What gears are moving is really not that hard to understand. Again, if it's not in the UTP, the Unified Transportation Plan, the 10-year plan, you don't have to put acronyms to it. You can just say, if it's not in TxDOT's 10-year plan, the chances of it getting built are smaller than if it is.
Gotcha.
And so then you look at it and go, okay, well, we need to get stuff in the Unified Transportation Plan.
Okay.
And then that helps us move things forward and get built. And so
makes sense.
So Rockwall participates. It's a Trip 21. I know we're going to get into that because I asked you to, specifically. Hey, we passed a road bond. What are we doing? That is the point.
Yes.
But a lot of what we're doing isn't building. It's racking and stacking, which is a nice little. So what we're doing is we're engineering. We're looking at trying to get right-of-way secured. We're trying to get the utilities moved so that TxDOT has a ready-to-build project, because TxDOT has to spend a definite amount of money, or the state takes the money away.
Yeah.
Because it's a state agency.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get as many projects advanced forward so that when things fall apart, they jump in. For instance, in February, 549 between 205 and 276 is going to get let. They're going to start constructing it. It's been sitting trying to get built for...
What year?
In February, in like
February.
3 months.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that got funded because another project fell apart and TxDOT needed to fund the money.
Another project somewhere else in the state.
Somewhere else in the state.
Interesting.
And so we were able to pick it up. Now, that's one way to do it. That's great. But that's not really a plan. And that's what I was critical of with Trip 21. We're not planning. We're hoping and praying. We're spending $150 million of other people's money hoping that we might get stuff done. And so I think 205 is a really good example of us putting our foot down with our regional and state partners saying this has to get done. And they've come forward. The federal government, the state government had to come up with more money. It's going to be almost a $350 million project.
Wow. Now, why did they have to come up with more money? Because everything's getting more expensive?
Everything's getting more expensive. And so every time you go to pour more concrete to do more work, it just gets more and more and more expensive. And so that's what's happening. And so now we're starting to write the contracts, get everything moving. And they're estimating it to be about $350 million. Now, that's after the county has helped engineer it. That's after utilities have been moved. That's after the right-of-way has been bought. That is just to put the concrete in the ground from the Kaufman County line to the Collin County line and that whole project.
Wow.
So this stuff is expensive. It's almost $18 million a mile for a TxDOT road.
Wow, $18 million a mile.
It's getting there. It's pretty close to that. So then you go, okay, we have $150 million. Well, the general public might say, well, then go build a bunch of roads.
Yeah,
you might be able to build one.
Right.
So, and so I would argue is that we're very aggressive and we're doing a lot of work on roads. It's just that I drive Rockwall County. I'm not going to sit around and pat myself on the back and say, job well done. We have done it.
We have completely. I wonder why. Oh my goodness!
So we know this. The court knows this, and we're trying to work diligently with all of our partners and to get as many roads built and to get as much stuff moved forward as we can. But you got to remember what we're doing is we're engineering, designing, and we're waiting. And so we have to wait for the state and federal government. These aren't our roads.
Right.
You know, they say, well, you're a road commissioner. Well, that's for county roads.
Exactly.
And you know, there are still peers of mine that are out there on machines building roads. And we don't do that in Rockwall County. We have a road and bridge department. And we hired an engineer this year. So we're turning that into a more sophisticated department. We put in $1.6 million into county roads this year in the budget, which is almost double what we've done in the past.
Wow.
To try to get studies, to try to get a plan, to try to make sure we're getting ahead of those issues. So yes, we are working on the county road side of it, but people don't drive a lot of these county roads. People are mad about 205, 66, 548, 551, those roads. And what are we going to do? Well, from the time we sit there and start drawing paper and say, hey, we want to build this road, it takes 15 years.
Yeah.
So I anecdotally say, how you build a road is you pencil it on paper, and you take a little pencil and you draw it, and it costs a couple $1,000,000.
Yeah.
And then the state goes, okay, that's good. We like your pencil. Now you double it, and you got to put it in pen.
Oh, wow.
So then you spend twice as much money to turn it into pen, which is called PS&E. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
But you turn it into pen, and you start getting it all set up, and then you've got to go, okay, well, what utilities are in the way? What right-of-way do we have to buy? And so then that's a process where you've got to buy the right-of-way. You've got to move the utilities. You've got to, you move all that stuff out of the way. Then you can go to the state of Texas and say, we have a project for you.
So for people who get confused, and again, it is hard to keep everything in line. So when you see on a sign that says CR, that's a county road.
That is correct.
When you see SH,
that's a state highway.
State highway. When you see interstate,
that's obviously a state federal.
Yep. So and so, is there any nuance in there that like FM?
FM is state.
State.
Yeah, they're state roads.
What am I missing? I know there's a ton of them.
Yeah, I mean, but most of them don't really have designations. I mean, you have U.S. highways.
Okay.
Like U.S. 287 comes to mind. So we're talking about turning that into an interstate now.
Oh, wow.
I just saw an article on it the other day. But yeah, you have the U.S. highway, you have the state highway, SH, like 66 and 205.
Yeah.
Then you have the FM roads, which are all state farm to market roads.
Okay.
And then, then you have your county roads. And a lot of our county roads have names.
Okay.
So they're even harder to find.
Boy, they are. Yeah, that makes it harder. So when we talk about the state road, the FM roads, is that in that book that you're talking about?
Yes, it has to be in the UTP.
Okay. So that's to build it. What about to maintain it?
The state has to maintain it.
Is that in the book too?
No, they have
the maintenance is in a different book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, so that makes okay. What's interesting is we have all of these developers coming in, and you're basically a road is a funnel, and so you keep pouring more and more. It's got a bottleneck. So
you're exactly correct.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would think that obviously, I'm a politician, and we're up for.
You're not a politician. You actually, I consider a statesman. But go ahead. Point made. Yeah.
So there is an election coming up, and I do think that the point of this election isn't whether this road is being built or that road is being built. It's who's going to try to stand up and stop the overdevelopment of Rockwall County.
Exactly. And I'm just it's fascinating because when I was mayor of McLennan Chisholm, the guy that ran against me, no one had ever heard of. No one ever seen. And come to find out, golly, he was well funded. And who funded him? Well, the PAC that funded him, stuff like that, didn't have any. They didn't record any of their contributions. And this PAC, the developer. So here's what, and this is my opinion. So I'm expressing an opinion, So what the way I see it is that a lot of developers, they see that, well, if they want something done, they don't want to have to compromise.
No.
So they want to put people in your position, and they're going to fund them, and they're going to do it from the background, and they're going to basically try and find someone who will do their bidding.
That is correct.
And so that's the problem with our current court. Dana Macklick, Bobby Galana, Lauren Lecty, and of course John Stacy, and of course Frank New, our county judge. The problem is all five of you seem to have this crazy notion of representing the people and not developers.
You are exactly correct.
But mark my word here, John, in the next, before this next election, mark my words, you are going to be vilified and demonized on social media by people who are, in my opinion, who will be funded by developers. Same with Frank New, Judge New. I guarantee you they're going to put someone up against you because you are a threat.
Yes.
To them. So just mark my word. And folks, if you are stupid enough to not see what's happening yet. If you're mad because all this development's going on, don't blame your county commissioners, because they're the ones who are actually standing up for you. So just keep that in mind and watch, and mark my words, watch social media, those of you who play that game, because they are going to be certainly coming after this group of people. So, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent, but I do want to talk about. I want to talk about this, what you call the Trip 21, and is that something you came up with?
No. So Trip 21 was voted on by the public.
Oh, okay.
Before I ever took office. So
Yeah.
it was the previous court that put that together.
Yeah.
And so
It was approved.
it was approved
Yeah.
because roads.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go out today and say, hey, I want to build more roads. And people will be like, do it now. Let's go. So we have the Trip 21, which is a $150 million road bond. There's a little bit of a misperception of, okay, we're going to the first issuance. So what that means is in February, we're going to go grab money from that $150 million for the first time.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we haven't been working on the projects in Trip 21. We have been.
Yes.
And you go, well, how have you been doing that?
Right.
With leftover bond money from previous bonds. We're still not out of money from the previous bonds. So we have 11 of the 26 named projects we're working right now.
Yeah.
And we intend to get that to 23 of 26. And so I would say, hey, you take a commissioner's court and says you can get 23 of 26 road projects moving forward within your first term in office, I would say is a success.
Wow, yeah.
And then so the plan was to kind of do 10 or 11 of these like every couple of years.
Okay.
So last year, which is the article you have in front of you,
Yep.
there was a huge push to try to get the outer loop, which isn't, that I can't find anywhere in Trip 21.
Yes.
The southern section of the outer loop from 276 down to Kaufman County, to get that funded, and basically nothing else. So I stood up, and Frank New and I stood up and said, I don't think that that's what the people voted on when they voted on the list. So now that we have a new court that is dedicated to building roads, we are now back to the list that the voters voted on,
Yeah.
and we're doing those projects.
Wow.
And so that's a lot of kind of the history of why now, what's the timing, those sorts of things. So we're looking at doing $60 million of road projects. That's what we're looking at releasing next year into the atmosphere, so to speak, and to get these things actually moving. And again, the focus on on building roads.
Yes.
Build every road we can build, and that's a big thing. And it's not just, hey, let's just design this, or let's go to this partner, let's go to that partner. I mean, people are out there, a public perception, probably more of a Facebook perception than a true public perception, is that our partnerships are weak because we're standing up to the outer loop and we're making demands on the outer loop. Well, if that's true, then how did we get 549 funded by the state?
Yeah.
How are we getting
Great point.
How are we getting the federal government with COG putting more money into 205 to ensure that gets done? I mean, just because you stand up and put your foot down doesn't mean that you're seen as ungrateful, or that you're seen as a pariah because, oh, who's Rockwall? No, we're just standing up for our people and saying, no, we need these roads built. And if you're going to put George Bush through the middle of our county, we want a say in it. We're not just going to give you the money to do whatever you want. There's going to be some sort of transaction that takes place. So standing up for people doesn't necessarily turn the federal and state partners against us. I actually think it's gained respect that we are standing up, and not just standing up, we're working with them. We're going to meetings with them. We're meeting with their lawyers. We're talking. We're trying to figure out how to work together.
When you say their lawyers, whose lawyers?
COG, which is the federal government side.
Gotcha.
They were trying to. So what we're trying to do.
Keep the.
I know.
Gosh.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out if we are going to partner with the outer loop, if that's even in the realm of possibility, then what do we get out of it?
Okay.
And so you do that by creating legal documents and contracts, and we're trying to work through that process. What would that look like? How can we make it better? What sort of limitations can we put on them?
Where I'm confused is where the consultant comes in and says that the road that $20 million to build the lanes of the outer loop was in Trip 41. Where did he get that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm just being completely honest. I have no idea. And here's what's funny is that We'll go through Trip 21, and I'll kind of give you a more convoluted answer when people can kind of see the list, and we have that ready to show them.
Okay, yes, we do.
But you know, one of the funny things is that the price of the southern part of the loop has been going down as we've been standing up.
You gotta be kidding.
I'm just saying. I did.
Oh, really?
So now they're like, you know, when I first took off, we need $9.5 million, and now they're like, I think we can do it for $7 million.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess we just keep fighting until they get it to $3 million. No, I'm kidding.
So basically, what is the county's responsibility in this? Right.
That's what I don't know, and I'm being honest.
Don't know.
And
Yeah.
as a county commissioner, I don't know, and no one can explain it to me. And that's just the truth. And I hate to.
Gosh, that's government for you. Isn't it?
And so I've been very clear with the North Texas Central Council of Governments, which is the regional partners that build this. Tell me what I get from spending county money on this, as opposed to you just doing it, because they, you know, COG has been clear. The state, this is a state road. This isn't a county road.
Right.
We don't have the authority.
Right.
So okay, great. Then just build it.
Right.
Why do you need me to be involved?
Right.
And I can't get an answer other than partnership.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's an answer, then what does that partnership get me?
So I know that. Commissioner Leckie and Representative State Representative
Pearson.
Yes, who's doing an amazing job. She, you know, it seems like they came and they did a kind of a forum, answered questions for a lot of people. This I think was almost, it seems like 2 years ago now, but it seems like they're trying to they're trying to get the state to work with us.
Yes.
More.
Correct.
And so that they're just not ramming it through the county.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't want to speak for Commissioner Lickley.
No, of course not. No, of course not. Yeah.
I can say I think his publicly stated goal is to make it the best possible outcome that it could ever be.
Yeah. By the way, you never speak for a lawyer. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, and then you take someone like Representative Pearson. I mean, her and I started in the Tea Party. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, 15 years ago.
Wow.
She was in Garland, and I was in Rowlett, and all that. And so, I mean, you know, talk about just, you know, us activists that just get out and say we've had enough. We're tired of all this overspending at the local level and at the state level.
Yeah.
And then, you know, 15 years later, I mean, obviously, you know, she went on to be Trump's spokesman and all that. But now, you know, we're back working together.
Wow.
You know, her at the state level and me at the county level is pretty remarkable.
It is.
It's been a long journey. So she is definitely a dear friend, and I can't say enough kind words about her ability to govern, her ability to stay true to herself and her principles. And I think that's what this court has done a good job of doing as well, is administering the county, which is county taxes, it's county spending. We have really slowed that down tremendously, that growth of spending, and still funded the government.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the whole thing. That, I mean, we passed a no new revenue rate.
Yes.
You know, and that hasn't been done. And not only that, is it was below. So we actually lowered taxes for the first time in a lot of years. And I was looking at an average house in my precinct, $8 more annually from my first budget to the last budget I passed. And we've added courts.
$8 more
a year.
What do you mean?
If you take an average house in my precinct and go, what was my county taxes the first budget that I passed and the budget I just passed? The county tax went up $8 annually. So that's controlling spending. That's not saying, well, I can't control what the appraisal district does. No, I can control the spending.
Right.
And that's the most important part. And you want to elect people that understand you can't just pass the buck to the appraisal district and say, oh, I kept the tax rate the same, knowing that that's an 8% tax increase or a 6% tax increase.
Yes.
I don't play those games.
No.
That's why I got elected, is to stop playing those games and to say, no, we're going to control the spending.
Yeah.
And you look at the fact that we added $1 million court, we've done raises, we've gotten our salaries.
$1 million court?
Yeah, so a district court cost $1 million a year to run. We had to add one in the last budget.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And is it, when will that be in place?
It starts January 1st.
January 1st.
Yeah.
And who is...
Brian Williams just got promoted into that court.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, very good. Okay, well, that's something we need to...
But anyways, I don't mean to... But I'm saying you can handle these challenges and still keep your eye on spending.
Right.
Because spending is how you keep taxes down.
All right. Do you want to look at these?
I would. And so I'm going to see how well I can see them on your screen.
I know.
Okay, so we're going to take them in chunks. So you can see that So this is a very confusing document, and I'm going to attempt to do my best to make it not confusing.
All right.
So you can look, you have the county judge. That's what it says at the top, county judge, and there's 6 projects underneath it.
Yes.
So what you have is you have 205 South. Okay, that project I just told you got funded. So we actually, even though we had money in Trip 21, we don't need to spend it. So that's actually $10 million of a project we were able to negotiate without spending any additional money.
Wow.
Then you have 66 to 552 on 3549. We're not doing that at this time. It is a low priority project.
Okay.
You go to the next project and you have $6 million in that. That just got funded. That's 549 between 276 and 205. So that we had $6 million that we thought, hey, well, we have to spend $6 million on that. So that's $16 million of Rockwall County money we didn't have to spend. Now the next one is the $4 million. That's supposed to be for access roads in my precinct for the outer loop. Now that's not the southern section of the loop.
Okay.
So it says from Collin County to the city limits of Royce City, building.
Look at that. So where are we talking? Your precinct is in the green.
Mine's the green. So look at 1138 and kind of come down almost a straight line where there's nothing. You can kind of see the subdivisions.
Yeah.
Kind of where there's nothing down to Interstate 30. And then it kind of wiggles over where there's nothing and then comes down 548 is what the outer loop is. So they're talking about building some service roads in that area.
I see.
Again, I'm going back to what you said when the consultant said, hey, there is $20 million in Trip 21. That's access roads. That's not the southern part of the loop. That's not going from 276 to the Kaufman County line.
Right.
Now, we can pivot. The court has the ability to say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and fund that anyway.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, we just freed up $16 million just in the judge's part of money we don't need.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't approved by the voters, which is my only point, is was it really something that we need done, and why is it first?
Yeah.
Why was the first
dip? That's what
dip?
I was confused about.
Why was that what it is? The
Yeah.
first dip needs to be the projects that the voters approved.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're focused on.
Yeah.
The other thing on the judges is the strategic, and we're looking at doing a master thoroughfare plan update, which it says it's going to be like $640,000. We think it's going to be less. We're negotiating.
That's its program management.
Yeah, that's the program management.
Okay.
So that's for us to update our thoroughfare plan. I think we're in desperate need to do that. A lot has changed. And then you get into Commissioner Galana, which is Precinct 1.
Yes. Now let's look at just for people's.
That's the yellow.
That's the yellow. So,
Yes.
so you may be in Commissioner Galana's. That's what we're talking about here. Go ahead.
So the biggest project is going to be 205. So our powder is staying dry until we need that upper part of 205, which is why you don't see a ton of activity. That's not because Commissioner Galana doesn't want to build roads. Mm-hmm. That's because the biggest project is that $20 million, and we do have the ability, when we need it, to issue that money and to keep that project moving forward.
Yeah. So the blue, the stuff, the $20 million in blue, that is what the voters approved. The $85 million is that.
That's the projected overall cost of the project.
That includes the blue.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. So so the rest of it is state money.
State or federal.
State or federal. Thank
Correct.
you. Okay, very good.
And so then you go down to 552, and this is where it goes into this court wanting to build roads. What we're doing is we're breaking 552 up into 3 separate projects. And you say, why would you do that? Well, you have a high school on one side, you have a middle school on the other, and then you have everything in between on 552. It's a big straight shot straight through the county.
Yeah.
Well, the state told us, hey, if you want us to kind of pick up projects, we need smaller projects. So we're working with our partners to go, okay, well, let's spend a little bit of money, break this project up. So then if you need a $15 million project, maybe we can build 552 in 3 stages. Not ideal,
okay,
but let's deal with reality.
Yeah.
Well, let's not sit around and go, well, we want the state to be better and we want more money. We can't do that. That's
right.
We have to stay in our lane. And our lane at the county is to try to put ourselves in the best position to get roads actually built.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So that was a big thing that we learned through going and talking to our partners. And then you have his strategic project, which is 1141. That he is working on. That's not a listed project, but it is a strategic project for him. It's a very important project. And what he's doing is he's getting 1141 started. And of course, the court is supporting this. This was a 5-0 vote. So we are all moving, kind of in this mindset. And so then you go into Commissioner Makalik, and
her district is in the orange?
that's the Orange District.
Okay, so
Yes.
that includes Heath.
Part of it, it kind of cuts off. It used to go a little further south
Oh, it
before
sure
the
did, didn't
redistricting.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, Lauren's got some of
No, Lauren has the county.
Yeah, look. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He's almost
wow.
the county judge. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he? Golly, that's hilarious. All right, so this is Lauren. Excuse me, Dana.
Yeah, this is Dana's
Commissioner
precinct.
Makalik.
So then you have looking at getting 740 online, which is going to be really, really vital for Heath and getting that started. That's going to be a big project. So we're starting the engineering. That's the pencil. I told you it goes from pencil to pen.
Okay.
So we're starting our pencil work on that.
Makes sense.
The Dow Rock $6 million, we were told that Rowlett doesn't want to move forward with it. So we pretty much put that on the back burner.
What was that?
Widening Dow Rock, it was a project between the county and the city of Rowlett to widen Dow Rock, because obviously that's the county line,
Right.
Between Dallas and Rockwall.
Okay.
And so they just said it's really not a high priority. So when you say, when you look at, hey, we're going to do 23 or 26 projects, well, one of those projects we're not doing is Dow Rock that Rowlett doesn't want to join us on. So how are we supposed to spend that money?
Is that at 30?
No, it's between 30 and 66.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just widening the road.
The ticket trap, I guess. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
The ticket trap.
Well, I think it is. I don't. Everybody tells me don't exceed the speed there. All right,
And
go
now
ahead.
you look at precinct 3, and boy, does Lauren have a lot going on. And
All right, let's look at. So Lauren, hey, he's got the little pink.
There's a little bit
the
of
small pink area.
The little pink area
Yeah.
that just takes over.
He's not busy.
And so now you look at, a thing like getting 3097 moving forward, super, super important for the connectivity there. 550, it's McLennan Chisholm. What we're trying to do is get rid of what they're calling, it's project number 15.
15? Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Trying to get rid of that dead man's curve and trying to straighten out stuff. So we're putting money into that. So that
Y'all going to straighten that out?
somehow, we're helping TxDOT do it.
Really?
Yeah.
That is. I'd like to see that. Okay. So,
So that's a TxDOT project. We're just helping design it.
Because that sign's down all the time. So
Yes.
it's right here where I am.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
very close to where we are sitting right now.
That's right. Okay.
And so then you have 550, which again is an intersection improvement, which is obviously very needed. That actually is a project that we're doing now with old money. So when you see that $1 million, like if you go over, you can see $1 million in yellow.
Yes.
We're actually transferring that money so that we can try to build Edwards Road, because we have already done Project 16. When people say, well, why haven't you done Trip 21? Well, Project 16 is a project we've already done with old money. We're working on it. We've spent the money. So we said, well, why don't we transfer that to Edwards Road, because we have an opportunity to build Edwards Road. So think about that. Do you want to sit here and design and draw roads, or do you want to build them?
Is Edwards the one that's right by the that D.R. Horton 4,000 acre thing? So
Yes, it is actually.
Yeah.
Don't walk me into that.
No, hey, you and me both, brother. Okay. No, I'm just curious. That's what we're talking about,
Yes,
though. Right,
yeah.
right on the backside of Sonoma Verde.
Yeah. So the developer for Sonoma Verde is building a nice, beautiful middle section. So,
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, Russell? Okay.
So we're looking at saying, hey, McLennan Chisholm, why don't we give you the money and you just finish building the road?
Holy mackerel.
And so that's what we're doing. So again, we're getting creative to build roads.
Boy, you sure are.
And then the other big thing he has going on, obviously at Edwards Road, and then we have Wallace Road, and then Poetry Road. Those are the big improvements. So a lot of what we're doing in Precinct 3 is actually building roads. That's a major
Where is the Wallace Road?
Wallace Road, hold on.
What number is that?
I see it on there. Wallace Road is number 22.
22. Okay, gotcha. Edward, okay.
And then under that is Poetry Road. So the focus from Precinct 3 Commissioner
there it is,
Lifty
right there. Okay.
is what can we do to build roads? Let's put concrete in the ground. We need to move people. We don't just need to draw pictures on maps.
Gotcha.
And then it gets into my precinct.
All right, well, let's look at, just so give people a reference. So you are the green. Okay. So
Which is my favorite color, so I do appreciate that on the map.
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah, so a couple of interesting things. Obviously, you see a number of projects there. So FM35, the state took that over. So we actually don't have any money in that project, and the state is currently designing it.
Was it $4,000 then?
$4 million.
Excuse me, $4 million.
Yeah, so the $4 million was supposed to be spent on FM35. So we approved the project in my first month of office in January of 2023, said, hey, let's move forward with FM35. The second we let that money, the state said, no, we're going to take it over. We're going to design it. We're going to get it ready to go. They're going to do the pencil and the pen exercise without the county.
Wow.
So,
and you guys are good with that.
oh yeah,
Okay,
just do it. Yeah, I mean, we can't move the state forward anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that really helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
And so what that enabled me to do is something that's this revolutionary. If you think about it for a second, is we have a high school coming in Fate, Worthy High School. It's on 552. Yeah, named after Kevin Worthy.
Okay.
And so you have this huge subdivision called Wood Creek.
Yes.
And then you have a high school, and the only way they can get there is to go on 66 up to 552 and over.
Okay.
So if you
Can
kind
you
of
see it on the map?
it's right where the pink and green come together.
Okay.
Right on 551. If you carry that up, and then you see that's 551, and then if you look at the top, you can see 552 and 66. Mm-hmm. That is where that high school is getting built in a field right there.
Okay.
So what I did was I said, hey, can we build a road that connects that subdivision directly to that high school?
Wow.
So we got the school district, the city, and the county all put money together, and we're building the road. This might shock you, before they open the high school.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So they are going to construction in January. They're going to award the contract in January to actually build that road. So that now that subdivision connects to the high school. Huh. So now you don't have to put all that pressure on 66 and 552 in rush hour. A lot of that school can just drive through the neighborhood straight up to the school, and it's going to intersect right at the school, right at King Road, right where the school is.
Wow.
So
and you're going to save lives too. And
yes.
People don't think about that, but
correct.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that was a big thing we were able to do. Now 548, obviously, Royce City, big project, a big FM road. We are still waiting for environmental clearance, but we're going to go ahead and issue about $4 million to take the pencil to pen once it gets environmentally cleared. So that's one of the things that I would say to my critics is, how am I supposed to spend money on 548 when I can't? So I'm preparing to spend money and trying to stay ahead.
Yeah.
1777 extension is going to be a huge monster project, and it is so critical to the city of Royce City. It's going to be impossible for me to explain on a map, so you're just going to have to imagine that you can take a road from 1777 to 35. It already has an interchange at 30.
Okay.
But there is no road that goes north.
Ah.
It's just a field.
Okay.
But a bunch of people in Collin County live off 1777. So the goal is, can we move them to 30 without having them go through downtown Royce City, without having them go through other thoroughfares, and just move them straight down?
Wow.
So it's going to be a big project. So we're going to have to work with Collin County. We're going to have to work with COG. We're going to have to build a road out of nowhere, basically. So
when you have when you have something like that, I mean, do you guys just sit in a big room with all of the stakeholders?
To be fair, it was done before me, because Trip 21 was before me.
Okay.
But yes, that's kind of what happened.
Okay.
And then you look, and of course the city of Royce City, they have an amazing staff over there that's saying, hey, this road is critical. So I'm trying to partner with them and say, yes, I agree, this road is critical. Let's get it built.
Okay.
But now we're trying to do the feasibility. Can we build it? And what does it do to the environment? How do we, because I mean, it's floodplain, it's railroad tracks, there's a lot there. So we're going to spend some money to see, can we build it? And then when we figure out that we can build it, let's get it designed and just move forward as fast as we can. It's going to take a long time to basically materialize that, because then we have to get Collin County to build part of it, because it's not all in our county.
Right.
So we're going to have to really kind of get with there.
Is Collin County on board, do you know?
They're not on board. Let's call it that. They understand the value of what we're trying to accomplish there.
Gotcha.
So, and then 2453 is literally it's the straightest road in my precinct, and we're looking at trying to get, again, I joke, we're trying to get that onto pencil so that we can move it forward with the state.
Another environmental thing, it says.
Yeah, trying to get the environmental cleared.
Gotcha.
And then we have more money in Trip 21 to turn that from environmental to an actually ready to go project.
Okay.
551, that's a big road in Fate. It just got environmentally cleared.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking at moving that forward to PSNE, or again, what I call PEN, moving it from pencil to pen.
Gotcha.
The next project is Ben Payne. This is one that I'm very proud of because I was able to get very, very creative. What we're going to do is we're going to give the city of Fate about $10.3 million to build the road. So they put this in Trip 21. You can see it says like, what, $1.75 million? Mm-hmm. In hopes that they would get a federal grant or get some sort of funding mechanism, and basically to appease Fate. I got to be honest, when I door knocked in Fate and told everyone, hey, they didn't put money in Ben Payne, but they put money in 3549, and then here I am, an elected official, shows you how much they missed the mark on what they were designing with Trip 21. But but that's true.
Yeah.
And so what we were able to do is kind of move money around and then use old '08 money that's sitting in the bank to fund South Bend Payne. Oh. South Bend Payne's getting an interchange. They're going to build it into an interchange. It's going to go under the highway. It's going to connect to Rochelle. You have 2 master plan communities that live off that road.
Wow.
Montera and Wood Creek.
Okay.
And so turning that into that thoroughfare all the way down to 30 makes all the sense in the world.
Wow.
If you keep it a city road, it's cheaper.
Oh.
So why turn it into a state road? Why spend all this extra money? I mean, it's all taxpayer money anyway.
Right.
So why spend the extra money when we could give Fate the money? So it's about an $18 million road.
Huh.
Fate's looking at putting about $8 million. We're going to put about $10.5 million, and we're going to build the road. And so what we're going to do is we're going to write an interlocal agreement and say, hey, you have $10.5 million. You send us the bills, the county will pay them.
Wow.
That's what we're going to do. So the city builds yourself a road. It's in the Trip 21 program.
Wow.
But it wasn't designed to get built. It was just designed to get pin and lines on a map. I don't want lines on a map. I want concrete I can drive on.
Absolutely.
And so those sorts of partnerships are absolutely critical.
They are.
Crenshaw Road, if anyone lives in that part of the county, they understand the importance of Crenshaw Road. It is $5 million under budget. I mean, over budget, I should say. So again, you can see, what is that number?
500,000.
Yeah, but look at what we had to put in there. We had to put $5 million.
Where?
If you go all the way to the side, we ended up
okay.
putting $5 million into Crenshaw Road to get it built. So finding that money was absolutely critical. You know, right now, there are kids that spend 2 hours on a bus to elementary schools because there is no thoroughfare connection to Crenshaw Road. So we
just have to go around.
You have to go around
it.
Yes. So building, because the bridge can't hold a school bus.
Oh my God!
So this is a project that's been going on forever. That we've had to reroute it. We've had issues with the federal government, with floodplains, and then we had to go buy a bunch of property. The county just closed on all the property last month.
Really?
So there's one more piece that we need to get. It's a small piece, but we got most of the big pieces, and so we're trying to let it in March and get it built. It's going to have a big old bridge that can hold a school bus. You talk about something that keeps me up at night. Crenshaw Road has kept me up for years.
Wow.
But just how do we move it forward? How do we build it? What do we got to do? So I'm very proud that we were able to find that and then find the money to fund that shortfall.
And just checking as a point of accountability, any of the property that was purchased, are they friends or
No.
friends of anyone on the
Zero
court?
friends.
Wow, that's interesting.
And no eminent domain was used.
Oh, really?
Correct.
Wow.
We bought
Nice.
all of the property.
Right.
That was
That's-
a major
that's
point
awesome.
of us, is to saying, hey, we want to buy this. We don't want to force a government muscle, and we were able to get that done.
Wow, it's nice to be rid of corruption. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally
Let's
fine.
continue.
And then you have the strategic money, and basically I took all of that money and put it into Crenshaw and Ben Payne.
Gotcha.
Really, at the end of the day. So again,
Wow.
you're looking at us issuing right at $50 million of the
Yep.
first issuance, and
Okay.
then spending another $12,781,000 of money we have in the bank. So you're talking about doing almost $63 million worth of road projects, of just getting them off the ground, and not a single one of them is not on the list. We
Wow.
went through the list and did what the voters asked us to do.
Wow.
So we have a plan, and
Yeah.
we're moving the plan. We're going to have 23 or 26 projects moving forward. Right now, we have 11 of those 26 projects moving forward. And we have a court that is smart, that is trying to solve these problems. We work together. That was a 5-0 vote resolution.
Wow.
We're all working together. We all understand how important the roads are. But in a day-to-day operation as a county commissioner, I administer a county. So that's the sexy stuff. Oh, roads and all this stuff and all you're doing. But my everyday work is administering software, working in between county departments, trying to figure out how to run a good, smooth county. So that we can be efficient and save money. And we have some of the best elected officials in the state. I've gone to conferences where they've said, we can't even get two JPs in the room together.
Really?
Yeah. And they just fight. And right now we have all 4 of our JPs working on a big project that could end up really helping us with growth potential. So we have forward-thinking elected officials that want to serve the people that elected them.
Wow.
So Rockwall is just a joy. We don't have the drama that I hear about. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with. But that's the everyday minutia. We don't have a city manager.
Right.
We are the city manager.
Yes.
So we're in there making decisions, solving contracts, looking at software solutions. That's what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's nice having, Frank New, who ran a business, Dana Makalik that's been running a business, Bobby Galana that's been in corporate America running businesses. He runs his own business now, but he's also been a VP of very large corporations. I've run my own insurance business for 10 years.
And just stay away from Lauren.
And Lauren's an amazing man. He's an amazing man.
Let's leave the lawyer out. Lauren's my favorite. I give him such a hard time because he's one of my favorite guys. So.
Yes, he is amazing, and he really is. I mean, when I love all of our commissioners, but Lauren, and I don't mean this lightly, I mean, he is the reason that Rockwall is great. I mean, having people like him that's been here since the 80s that have served.
Gosh, what did he get? What is going on here? No.
Oh, yes.
He's got something on yours.
No, he does not.
Okay, well, he gave you something really nice for Christmas.
Not at all. But no, I love my coworkers, and I love what I do. I mean, sometimes I don't even feel like it's work. I just love to go in, solve these problems, work together. And one of the reasons I really wanted to go on your show is to try to walk the public through what is this first issuance? What are people talking about? What are we doing? We're trying to get roads ready for TxDOT, and where we can build them, we've worked to build them. Yeah. This actually has 5 or 6 roads being built, and I don't know the last time 5 or 6 roads have actually been built in Rockwall County, other than Interstate 30 and some of those sorts of things. So we're one of the most aggressive courts on roads, and for some reason the Facebook chatter is, well, they haven't got started, and they haven't done this, and they haven't done that. That's because you have people that want the outer loop. It is not people that are genuinely looking at, hey, what are we doing with roads? How are we solving our road problems? Yeah. I'm trying to let Rockwall County drive through Rockwall County. If the region wants to put a big regional thoroughfare through, then put a big regional thoroughfare through. Yeah. I'm not trying to say I don't want to be part. We know we're part of the region. I mean, we abut Dallas. Sure. I would love to keep us farmland, but I know eventually we'll grow, and that growth is super, super important. And you don't just lay down and let any developer do whatever they want. Developers have to be accountable. Really? Yeah. You know what I say? I say you have property rights, but your business plan does not have a property rights.
Exactly.
Good point. So, I want to be a good neighbor. But these things cost a lot of money. You talk about schools, road infrastructure. Well,
and the thing that frustrates me is the fact that these developers put in these massive developments, and there's really they have such an impact on the surrounding communities, and they really contribute very little to that. Are things changing in that to that degree?
Well, D.R. Horton wants to put 6,300 homes right next to you, actually.
Yes, 4,000 acres, yeah.
They're right there. Yeah. And we've asked them to pay their fair share of infrastructure. And then when we agreed with them on what the infrastructure was, they sued us and said, we take our offer back. When we said, your platting doesn't meet our subdivision regulations, you don't have fire, you don't have water, they're suing us in federal court, both personally and in our official capacity, saying you don't even have the right to look at this plat. Guys, I mean, this isn't rocket science. If they don't have water, if they don't have fire, this is McLennan Chisholm. Was there a time where the water faucet stopped working? I mean, so I
think I remember that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So for us to say, prove to us you can supply water to 27,000 people is not too much to ask. And now they're suing us, saying, well, that's just government overreach.
Yeah, and the reason they're suing you is they know they don't have a case, but it doesn't matter. You can be sued for anything. So I think this is just more nonsense that they're just trying to drum up in my opinion, they're just trying to drum up tax dollars and put pressure on you guys to bend to their will.
Well, we have a resolute court.
You sure do.
Then
right now we do.
Yes, and we want to uphold what little authority we have within our subdivision regulations. We don't have land use authority. We don't have zoning authority, but we do have very, very clear authority in the local government code to have subdivision regulations, and safety is important. And if you can't provide fire and water, then how can you plat 63? It's the second largest city in Rockwall County.
Well, they're they're hoping that either McClendon, Chisholm, or Rockwall's not. I can't believe I think they've made up their mind they're not going to provide fire. But if these cities just say no and force the developer to create their own fire department, which they would have to do because it's a mud.
And they can.
They can. Yes. Absolutely. They just want to find a city stupid enough, like McClendon, Chisholm, that will say, hey, yeah, come on, we'll take care of your fire. So, yeah, that's... So what do you project? I mean, when do you see them turning dirt on that property?
Well, we have some lawsuits to settle first.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying anything else about the lawsuits. Obviously, they're active. Right. They're real.
And I was expressing my opinion about it. So you weren't speaking about it, but
no. But I've been saying I don't know because it is all tied up in litigation at this point. And how do you negotiate? You can't prove that you have enough water. How do you negotiate?
Right.
You don't have fire protection.
Right. You either have it or you don't.
And then when they say we don't have to follow your open space plan, we don't have to follow your regulations. Well, we think you do have to follow our regulations, so we denied your plat or disapproved your plat or whatever the legal words are, and said no, you can't build until you can satisfy these very basic requirements.
Yeah. Who's up this next election? I know you and Frank are.
And Commissioner Macklick. Remember, all three of us came at the same time.
That's right. So yeah, the three of you are going to start getting attacked, and
we're the agents of change, so we know what's coming.
Exactly. And you're holding ground. You're actually representing the people. On a different topic, we've just got a few minutes left, but I just wanted to ask. So you talked about your surprises and stuff. What have you discovered? Are there things that you thought shouldn't have? You were surprised that it was a lot harder to get certain things done than when you came in.
I think that I did not truly realize what it would take to get TxDOT to build a road.
Okay.
And I also didn't truly appreciate what it's like to have 23 elected officials running a government.
Oh.
So you have the judges, you have the JPs, you have the constables, you have the sheriff, you have the different clerks. You don't have a city manager that can just say, no, we're doing this. And so when you look at software needs, when you look at interdepartmental communication, we all are doing good. I'm not here to say, well, this department doesn't like this. We're all communicating, but it's really hard when you can't go in and say, okay, sheriff, this is exactly what you're going to do. This is how you're going to run your department, and if you don't, I'm going to fire you.
Yeah.
Well, he was hired by the people of Rockwall County to do his job.
Exactly.
So, love Terry.
Yeah.
Terry Garrett's a great sheriff.
Yes. And a great Aggie, too. So.
Yes. And so, but I didn't realize the true difficulty in the sense that, people think, well, you're a county commissioner. Well, I am, but my power is the purse.
Yeah.
My power isn't the ability to say, you have to change this and you have to change that. And so just kind of learning how to really get buy-in, I mean, I ran a small business. What I say goes in my small business, whether it's right or wrong, and then being challenged and working through all that. But it's been great. And I'm telling you, I absolutely love being in county government. I was telling someone that the other day. They said, man, it's nothing but sloppy and infighting, and it is, but it's all for good. And I don't know why, but I love how clunky it is. We get all of our powers directly from the state. If the state doesn't give us powers, we don't have that power. It's a beautiful thing. There's not a lot of left for interpretation.
Right.
And it's a government that's 86% of the government the money is spent on keeping bad guys in jail.
Yeah.
Or making sure people go free.
Again?
86% of the county budget is jail, sheriff, courts, clerks, DA's office.
Wow.
That's our job. Our job is criminal justice.
Wow.
And and I'm the commissioner over our criminal justice software system that goes all the way from an officer talking to someone all the way through the conviction and making sure that software works and that everything goes through and all the information is processed
I didn't
through.
realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's what our budget is. That's the job of the commissioners, is to make sure justice is done.
Yeah. So I'm going to, the final question is, so I've given Judge New a hard time last time. I think he was on the show because I've looked at the county budget, and I'm sorry, but the way it's designed, it is maddening.
Yes.
To try to get, because most cities, they've got it down, they make it really easy for people to understand. I think the county has done a great job to take something very complex and make it really complicated. Have you guys gotten anywhere on that?
The short answer is no.
Okay.
But is it something? I mean, yes, it is something that we really I think we need to work on. So what we did really work on is I think I've heard someone say, well, y'all's budget process was so complicated and you got to see all the fighting and all the. That's government.
Sure.
That's great government.
No, I agree. And I mean, I'm not. Look, I'm not complaining about that.
No. But I'm saying
Okay.
so we've now taken the budget process and made the process very transparent.
Okay.
So now the next step is to make the paperwork very transparent.
I love it.
So I'm saying we're taking it in steps, and it's a really tough ship to steer. Because it's just not that simple, and some of these solutions are really expensive. Commissioner Mackalick and I have looked at several solutions, and they were expensive. They didn't seem like they really fit everything, but we are actively and actively as a court, as a body, trying to find ways to be more open and more apparent, and that gives me a really good thing. When we actually do this first issuance of the bond, we're building a back end to our website that's interactive, that's going to have like videos of the commissioners explaining the projects.
Oh, wow.
And updates. And so you're going to see a whole lot of transparency. And this is what the project is. This is where it is on the map. The map will be interactive. You can find your house. It's going to be great.
Wow, that is awesome, man. Commissioner, it is so great. It was funny, the email you sent me with all of this information. You said, I promise this won't be dry. And it wasn't. You accomplished that goal. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much.
So much. You're always welcome here, obviously, and I hope you understand why I consider him such a great asset for the Rockwall County. So, look, I appreciate you hanging in with us today, and look forward to next time. I'm going to get some more commissioners in here, I'm sure, and of course, County Judge Frank New. But I hope you have a great day. I hope you're blessed with everything that is going on in this Christmas season. So until next time, I'm Bunker Bob Steinhagen. We will see you again later. Blessings.